Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Badass Unscripted. Thanks for tuning in, guys. How's everybody doing? Listen, sometimes I have conversations with people about Agile failure, the causes of Agile failure, the causes of Agile problems, the causes of Agile struggle. And, we so often we look at, blaming the management and having the wrong mindsets, not having the right tools, the right equipment, the right rooms, the right training. And all of those things matter. But you know what I observe, what I see when I walk around and work with teams, is how much time could we save? How much effort could we reduce? How much anxiety could we eliminate if we could just stop caring or worrying about certain things? Let me give you an example. One of the really common things I've noticed that happens when you introduce Agile to an organization that's been thinking about it but doesn't yet have it, is there's the resistance to the new way. So you bump into somebody who's been doing things a certain way for a while. They've maybe even invested a lot of time and effort into creating a practice, creating a process. Now here you come with your notions of agility, the idea that we'll proceed without a plan, that will just continually get better on a weekly basis, instead of adhering to a rigid process of some kind. That we're doing things that are largely untested and possibly even prone to failure, also known as experiments. So my way of doing things bumps up against your way of doing things, and we start caring who wins. We get into a bake-off to see whose idea has more merit. We ring the bell and call the principal, and we say, this guy's doing something naughty. Now, this is the way that I've been doing it. This is the thing that I've invented. This is the thing that I'm expert at. And his thing's completely different. So tell him he has to leave. Tell him to go home. Tell him to stop doing what he's doing. So then, if things go medium okay, you end up in some kind of contest where you've got to prove that your method bears more merit, more possibility of success than the other person's. We waste sometimes weeks, sometimes months, and I've even seen years of trying to prove that our way might work. Imagine how much more we could do if we just sat down and said, let's give it a try. Let's try this on a small number of projects. Let's try it on a lower risk project. Let's have a certain percentage of our portfolio dedicated to working with Agile to see how it works for us, to experiment. Ultimately, people make the argument that, well, I'm doing all this and I'm raising all this fuss because I care about my customers. I want to make sure they get the best quality service. And I call BS, man. I don't think that's why people do it at all. I think it's because what they really care about is their ego, that their sense of pride, accomplishment, their ability to survive, their ability to compete, the ability to provide is locked into their existing ways of working. And if that vanishes, a whole bunch of the safety surrounding their self-concept goes with it. And I think that's a huge problem. Your job as an Agilist is to work with those people in such a way that their internal sense of their ability to provide, to succeed, to do meaningful work isn't tied to any one methodology, in fact, but to their passion for serving their customers, the fulfillment that they get by doing their best work, and simply letting them know that Agile is another tool I'm going to put in your existing toolbox to do that. We don't have to say bye-bye to the old way, but we have to continually add and sharpen and maintain our tools so that we have things that are serviceable, things that help us in the accomplishment of our mission. How often do we as people do this, where we're tied or locked to certain outcomes? Things have to go a certain way. I only want to use my, calendar system. I'm only comfortable working at my desk or at this particular location. This will only work for me if I'm part of this business unit. How often do we tie our happiness to certain outcomes? There's another thing we can let go of. Stop needing things to be a certain way in order for you to do your best work, in order for you to feel comfortable moving forward, or even caring about how we appear, caring about who likes you, caring what the boss thinks, caring about getting the approval of other people. Imagine what we could do if we could strip away the things that we worry and care about that don't add any value, not just to our projects, but to our lives. I think you'll agree that in all of these cases, caring about the old way of doing things, caring about who's watching, caring about certain set outcomes, caring about your ego are inherently wasteful things. That's something to think about. For you as an Agile leader, your job is to work around and eliminate the waste associated with those kinds of mindsets. Do me one small favor. Try this week. Look around and watch in your work environment how many of the activities that you dedicate an hour or 2 hours or more to are centered around clinging to a certain conception, a certain outcome, or a certain self-concept. Let me know how it goes. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being true believers. You can find me at badassagile.com or on Twitter at badass_agile or on Instagram at badassagile. I look forward to seeing you out there. And until then, stay badass.